The New York State Office of Addiction Services and Support, or OASAS, provides this podcast as a public service. Thoughts and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent or reflect those of the agency or state. This is Addiction, the Next Step.
This is Addiction, the Next Step. I'm your host, Jerry Gretzinger here, and we're here at the New York State Offices of Addiction Services and Supports. And we really like the opportunity to bring everybody who's either listening or watching the latest information that can be useful or helpful as we navigate the world of addiction. And one of the things that is so important to us is workforce. We need to make sure that we have an ample number of people who are out there providing the services that are so desperately needed across the entire state. And one of the things that's at work right now to make sure we continue to build that workforce is a scholarship program, because we want to encourage people to study this, to make this their chosen profession. And it's an aptly named scholarship, the Addiction Professionals Scholarship Program. And we are going to get some more information about this today from Sophia Favelus, and she's the project manager for the initiatives that we're talking about. Thanks for sitting down with us, Sophia.
Thank you for having me, Jerry.
And so, I think we've mentioned this a little bit in the past. We've had some episodes where we've talked about the scholarship program, but we have you back on because it's growing. It's done so well. It's been added to, it's expanded, and I want us to start with that. So let's tell people. Well, let's start with what it is, right? So what is this all about? We know it's a scholarship. It offers money for people to study. Take it from there.
Okay, well, yes, as you said, the Addiction Professional Scholarship Program was started originally to address the addiction and overdose epidemic, of course, and to address the ongoing workforce crisis among addiction services professionals. So recently, originally, what we had was scholarships funding for the Credentialed Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Counselor program.
Okay.
Also for the Credentialed Prevention Professional Credential Program and the Certified Recovery Peer Advocate certificate programs at different community-based organizations and colleges, including Stony Brook University and Alfred State College. Recently, we've actually expanded to 15 SUNY and CUNY community colleges throughout New York State, where we're actually providing associate degree programs or courses for payment for courses towards the associate degree program, along with the KSAC credential program. We also had originally, I should mention, the bachelor's degree program, which you did a podcast on recently for the bachelor's degree program in addiction studies. So
we talk about some of these different programs, the different position titles. You talk about the workforce crisis, and so the positions that we're trying to help people, study for and then eventually move into, professionally. These are critical service delivery roles. These are people who are definitely making a difference for people, New Yorkers around the state. And we want to continue making sure that there are an ample number of people doing those jobs.
Yes, definitely. And we think that with the associate degree program, it's adding a new pathway to develop new workers and actually to retain the current workers existing in our workforce.
And so I think this is great too, because like you said, we talked about the bachelor's program previously on one of the podcasts. We did a video. I think we still have it up on our website in a couple different places, which is oasas.ny.gov. Always want to give that out when we can. But the fact that this has expanded now to so many more campuses, it's available so much more widely, that has to be a tremendous boost in the amount of people that we can reach with a program like this.
Oh, definitely, yes. And we have like $18 million in scholarships. So we'll definitely reach more people, especially since they're throughout New York State, these schools. We definitely need to do that.
So as you say, reach people across New York State, and you talked about the 18 million. I think one of the things for me the last time, and you could tell us if we have the same system in place now, but this, you read about, okay, this is to help people study, addiction careers, right? Work in the addictions field. And you wonder, okay, is it a partial scholarship? Is it just going to get me a little bit of the way there? And some of the participants in the bachelor's program, they let us know, no, this is covering everything. I mean, if I go through this program, this is going to cover every expense I have to do this study.
So yes, definitely. It's covering all tuition, completely, and it's covering mandatory fees as well. And actually, scholarships are applied after all financial aid is granted and considered, except student loans. So you won't have much to owe after that.
Yeah, I think that's such a tremendous thing, and it's a nice chunk of money that's available for people to do that. And I look at this and I think if anybody has an interest, it's sort of like a no-brainer. I mean, why wouldn't you reach out and say, hey, how can I find out more about it? What's the first step someone has to take if they hear this podcast or if they've heard people talk about it? What's the first thing they do? Do they go to our website? Do they look at some of the colleges participating? I mean, what would you advise?
So I would advise definitely to see our scholarship webpage, which is on oasas.ny.gov. You click on the providers and workforce tab and then the scholarships tab. There you have a directory of participating entities, where you can actually see the contact person and their contact information for each program and learn about each program. And it's actually a link to each program's webpage. So you can look directly there and look at different programs and see what fits you and what your professional goals are. I know for the bachelor's degree program, once you graduate from that, if you have prior substance use disorder experience, you can actually advance your career by working in supervisory positions or administrative positions. And if you have an associate degree as well, after you graduate from one of the community college programs, you can actually work as a counselor, whether it's a KSAC or a prevention practitioner.
The next question I'm going to ask you is, maybe some people are wondering, okay, this sounds interesting. I think I would find some fulfillment in doing this kind of work, but maybe they're wondering, what would an average day for me be like? So if somebody goes into this field of study and they plan to do this as a career, I mean, what could they expect? Would be a typical day in the life.
Well, they should expect to work in a clinical setting and a treatment site, and recovery site for those who are peers. On a daily basis, what we have is, to give a better idea, is the paid internships. So each program is requiring you to complete a certain number of internship hours so you can get the full experience there.
And a paid internship at that. So
yes.
we have the scholarship program, paid internships. A lot of benefits, a lot of perks for people to participate here.
Yes.
So then the next question, somebody goes through the program, they have a sense of what the average day may be like. And I mean, what is an average day really? None of us have an average day, but
right.
You kind of painted a broad picture. But then let's talk about, salary expectations. That's obviously something also people might be asking about.
Right. Yeah. So for counselors in New York State, the average, I would say, wage would be $62,000 every year. And for prevention practitioners, actually, it'll be $50,000, which is like $24 per hour. And they can expect to make anything between $30,000 and $75,000. For peers, it's about $15.80 per hour, the hourly wage. And they can range from $34,000 to $59,000 per year.
Yeah, a lot of reward, I think, to participate in this program. But I want to ask you about a different kind of reward too. We've had some people on who are, that do work as addiction professionals, and they very often talk about, that intangible benefit that they get from it. Right? It's that feeling, that sense of accomplishment that you're doing something to make a difference for people. Talk about that a little bit, because that might be another piece that people might like to hear about. What do you get out of a job like this?
Well, that you're making a difference in a crisis situation, right? We have an opioid and overdose epidemic and addiction epidemic in this country right now. So, and we also have a high turnover and massive shortage of addiction professionals working in the field. So, that one more person added into this field will make a massive difference in addressing this epidemic. You'll directly work with those with substance use disorder at treatment sites. So it's quite fulfilling. Yeah. And the more people we have, the less burnout we'll have and the less turnover we'll have as well.
Right. That's why I want to have more people to do it, because it's an important job. It's a difficult job. But I agree with you. I think in the things that I've seen, it's that, the people who are delivering these services, there's that sense that we are all working together
yes.
to make things better, right? To affect, enhance someone's life, make a better situation for someone. And that's definitely something that when you see it come through, that's the kind of intangible thing that, just well, you can't put a dollar figure on,
That's right. It's very rewarding.
Yeah. Sophia, I think this is great. Hopefully we've reached a lot of people with this information. And I know education, just the thought of it sometimes can be daunting for people, and to know that there's this kind of, monetary support to help people get started, to go through the program is great. So I know you said the first stop should be the website, oasas.ny.gov, oasas.ny.gov. And there's 15 campuses, you said, right now that are participating. Is that right?
So 15 SUNY and CUNY community colleges for an associate degree program, along with an integrated CASAC program. We also have a bachelor's degree with SUNY Empire State University.
Yeah.
And we also have 10 community-based organizations where you can have either a peer certificate program or a CASAC program. And we also have Stony Brook University and Alfred State College where you could do either a CASAC or a CPP program.
All right. Lots of great opportunities for people. And again, if you're out there listening or watching, this is money that we want you to be able to use. So if you have an interest, how long does it take to log on and get more details, right? So start there, and who knows, maybe in a few years we'll have some people who are listening today on the podcast to talk about their journey and how they decided to enter the addiction workforce.
Yes, that'll be very exciting.
Yeah, well, that's what we're looking for. Sophia, thank you again for sitting down and joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure we'll have more updates on this as time goes on, and hopefully as we continue to make money available for such a great idea. All right, hey, I am Jerry Gretzinger, your host of Addiction, The Next Step. And hope all is well with you. We'll see you next time. Be well.